All right, here we go. I know this video is going to be controversial. I know this video is going to make people upset, and it'll probably result in losing subscribers. I don't think it should. I kind of despise the fact that whenever I do talk about something mildly controversial, or whenever I know that I have a take that probably goes opposite of maybe a group of my followers or just people in general, that means, like, be ready to get hit, right? But I think this is a very important issue to talk about, and that's Sony's handling of studios, okay? We've talked about the Bloomberg article over the weekend and on Friday. We talked about The Last of Us remake. We talked about Days Gone and Days Gone 2. We talked about Uncharted, what the heck's, all the different situations with that. And so we did all those 3 videos. Those were the last 3 days. And now in this video, I wanted to conclude this 4-part PlayStation series, which has been a load of fun to record and to put together. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, watching it. And leave a like, please, because to try and offset, I'm sure, some of the downvotes that I'll get. Sony's handling of these studios is atrocious. I think so. It's I want to make a video later on in this week, and I want to talk about Shawn Layden, because I think that's really where things went downhill. Now, for context, I'm a PlayStation guy. I really am. I have always said, though, I'm not a part of the console wars. I go where the games are. So if there's a good game on the Switch, I will play it. I do have a Switch. If there's a game only on Series X, let's say they make a game only on that console, no other Xbox, just on that, I would get it. If it's a game that I want to play, I will get it. I go where the games go, okay? That's my loyalty in the gaming industry, and that's, I think, important. I think having blind faith in companies, billion-dollar companies, is probably just like, worshiping Hollywood, worshiping politicians, probably the worst thing you could ever do, okay? They're not us. We support them. Without us, they can't do anything, okay? That's a broad statement because obviously we need enough of us to send a message, but that's the general gist, okay? But I am a PlayStation guy. I have the PS5. I've loved PlayStation from the very beginning, okay? But that doesn't mean I can't be critical on it, and I think that's the biggest point I want to drive home, is that I try and do this with all of them. I want to give all these companies benefits of the doubt, but I also want to be critical when I feel like it's needed, and I don't know what's going on. The idea that Sony, and this is what they're doing, it seems like, they're focusing on a handful of studios. They have over 12, I think they have, 13 or 14 studios that they own. They're focusing really on 4. Insomniac, Guerrilla Games, Sony Santa Monica, and Naughty Dog. Those, if you weren't super into, the news, and you weren't into, going online, and I told you Sony had just those 4 studios, you may believe me. Now, obviously they focus on, and they have deals with all these other companies, but the way they've treated seemingly the rest of these studios is a disaster. Sony Japan is one of my favorite studios. They've made some of my favorite, yes, different games, but really amazing games. And they're basically gone. They basically shut them all down. And that's been such a sad story. It's pretty much over now. But over the last several weeks, kind of waking up and seeing, oh, this lead guy who helped with Gravity Rush, he's gone. This lead guy who did Puppeteer, he's gone. This lead person who did this game is gone. And you're seeing it every day. And it just got kind of depressing, where it's like, I was considering, okay, maybe I could cover it for a video. I didn't really want to, because it's like, I don't want to see, now technically Sony Japan is still around, but it's just been so restructured that it really isn't anymore. And that's just such a sad thing, because I get it. Those games weren't all that profitable, and you do have to make business decisions. And that's something that Sony, actually, that was mentioned in this Bloomberg article. They mentioned Sony Japan's restructuring, and they said, those games were very unique, very different, very, people love them, okay? But they didn't sell well, and they especially didn't sell well outside of Japan. So, I get it. I hate the fact that we're never going to get a Gravity Rush 3 now, okay? But at the same time, Gravity Rush 1 and 2 did not sell. Only a couple 100,000 people got those games. I don't even think they cracked, maybe they cracked 1 million, but I don't think they did much better than that. So it's yeah, I get it. If you want those games, you have to support those games. And there's only so much I can do or you can do in buying the games, right? If not enough people do it, you have to kind of move on. So that's one thing. What they did with Sony Bend, or Bend Studios, I always get it confused which one it is a disaster. Rejecting Days Gone 2, which I understand why you would do that in 2019, but I think you should probably do it now. Making them do all of this different stuff, and again, supporting what's already happening. So they're supporting Naughty Dog, right? Sony Santa Monica's got has at least 2 different teams working on their stuff. We know Insomniac is like massive. Guerrilla Games, there's rumors that there could be 2 games there, but for the most part, it seems like there's only 1. But these seem to be the 4, okay? And if you're not in those 4, I don't want to say you're treated like dirt or you're treated like garbage, but I don't think Sony respects them enough. And that's a tough thing to say, right? Even like Media Molecule, you could say, with Dreams, obviously they were given a lot of leeway with that, but I don't know. The fact is, okay, I buy a PlayStation for a certain reason, okay? I buy it to play a wide variety of exclusive games. That, boiled down, is why I have a PlayStation. Now, somebody made and I don't remember the guy's name, but he made a phenomenal point in a video a few days ago, and it was like a controversial kind of PlayStation Xbox thing. And he said, when you buy a console, you're not guaranteed to get every game basically that comes out on that console. And I kind of add on to it. You're taking a strategic risk when you buy a console. When you brand yourself, I'm a PlayStation user, I'm an Xbox user. You're branding yourself and you're saying, okay, I'm expecting this set of things on this console. And if I don't get them, sure, you can be mad. Sure, you can be upset. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think we're all entitled to our own, voice and opinion. But you shouldn't expect everything, because that's not how it works. You know what I mean? I didn't get the PlayStation because I expect the Nintendo games to go on the PlayStation. You know what I mean? If I expect to have those games on the Switch, which is why I have a Switch. Okay? So that does go in, I guess, to this, where it's like, why do you get a PlayStation? More importantly, what makes PlayStation special? What elevated it in the PS4 era? Because the PS3 era is actually very similar to the era we're experiencing right now. A lot of behind-the-scenes drama, a lot of management shifts, a lot of studios that don't seem to either know what they're doing, or Sony doesn't know what they're doing with those studios. And a lot of this happened in the PS3 era, and then they fixed it towards the very end, okay, like the last 2 or 3 years of I'd say like 2011, 2012 was kind of the start, and then it just like took off from there for the PS4 era, okay? And then, again, when Sean Layden left, it really seems like, I'm not saying Jim Ryan's the problem, although I know a lot of people don't like him. I'm not saying Herman Hulst, right, who I believe is the Worldwide Studios boss who used to do Guerrilla Games, right? I'm not saying he's the problem. He seems pretty okay, although he had some say in some of the messed up stuff that was going on in that Bloomberg article, so maybe I don't know, maybe I don't trust him. But like, it seems like it's the leadership. To me, it seems like it's the leadership. Their push is on these big games, and there's nothing wrong with that. These are the games that sell the best. These are the games that push your console the best. And I guess at the end of the day, you put out a Spider-Man game, it sells however many millions, tens of millions of units, and it pushes your PlayStation. And you compare that and you say, okay, could we do Spider-Mans just over and over again because we know it's going to make money, we know it's going to sell systems? Or do we focus on having like 4 or 5 kind of random-ish games that like expand what we can do? You know what I mean? Like, it gives us more identity that, hey, we're up for anything. But they may not sell well. In fact, they may not actually net us like a net positive, okay? So like, it's tough because the more I talk about it, like, I understand why as a company you'd want to do what they're doing. You bank on The Last of Us. I didn't love The Last of Us Part 2. I disliked a lot of the the story elements and the decision making there. But the game as it is incredible in a lot of ways, right? I actually really love the gameplay, the visuals, the acting. I mean, there's a lot of amazing things in that game. And obviously it sold really well, and I know I don't speak for everybody because a lot of people loved it. You bank on it. You bank on games like Uncharted. You bank on games like Horizon. You bank on games like God of War. But you never have those games if you don't take risks. You know what I mean? Like what they did with Days Gone, it's like, how do you know that Days Gone 3 couldn't be a massive 10+ million seller, and Days Gone could be your next big franchise? How would you know if you don't give them a chance? And Days Gone did well. There's hints that Days Gone could actually be a popular franchise, and you don't let them do it. Destroying Sony Japan. Yeah, not all in fact, most of their games aren't big sellers, but who knows? Maybe 1 out of every 3 or 4 is, and then all of a sudden, man, you got a brand new big franchise, right? It's just, I don't know, choosing The Last of Us remake over Uncharted, over other things, leaving game, and this is a side issue, but like leaving games like Sly and like Infamous and like Resistance, leaving them for dead. Basically, that's what they've done with just those. Those are 3 franchises I commonly go to. You can even look at like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. There's all these franchises, Killzone. There's all these franchises that they've left behind, and And they continue to close studios. They continue to close, and then they make studios that they do have. It's what upsets me so much about the Sony Bend thing in that article, because not only am I upset that you made them do The Last of Us multiplayer, which makes no sense why you'd have them help you with that, and you have them do a brand new Uncharted game instead of Days Gone 2. Again, makes no sense. But the bigger issue to me is that you have them as a helping studio. Sony Bend is not a studio that helps other studios, okay? That's not what they are. You're wasting them. That's the two heads of Sony Bend quit in the last year and a half. So you're literally bleeding talent, and people are leaving these studios because you're mismanaging them. Why would Sony Bend be a support team for Naughty Dog? That's not what they are. They made Days Gone, and yes, Days Gone is very flawed, but I think the foundation is there for better games in the future, 1,000%. And it's a game that gets more and more love, I'd say, like every single month. Every month after the game comes out, there's more new people playing it, more people love it, and you have them as a support team? What are you doing? The Sony San Diego team, which wasn't really mentioned in the Bloomberg article, but a lot of behind-the-scenes rumors that I've seen is that studio is just a mess. There's been people, high-level people, that have left. Those people that have left have said that there were definitely some problems that were going on with like how they were doing stuff in the team. You're opening up a secret studio that could make like a new Uncharted game or something really cool, okay? And you're like, again, you're not doing it right. I don't even know. You didn't put it all together the right way because they're not getting along, or they're not, moving forward in progress with the game. It's an issue, and I say this from this is tough love, and I would say this for Microsoft as well. And Halo Infinite and all that stuff from 343. I mean, 343 has its own issues as well. You gotta be able to call it out. And that's one thing, I see a lot of PlayStation fans on Twitter, which is like, I love PlayStation fans. I love Xbox fans. I don't love it when they like attack each other, but I see a lot of PlayStation people now saying, well, let's focus on the positives. Here's all the good stuff coming. And these are like big accounts. These are big accounts. And I think they're nice guys, and I follow some of them, right? They're really cool people. But like, let's not maybe focus on just the positives. You need to talk about the negatives here. You can read this Bloomberg article and say, I'm just going to push it under the rug. And you know what? Let's take the positives. We got a new game from Sony Bend that's not Days Gone. Okay, that's just some random, and maybe it's not actually confirmed, but like maybe a new game. You probably do have a new Uncharted game happening. You have The Last of Us remake, which is a big deal. Okay, it may not be what I want, but it's a big deal. You can look at it that way, and I do in a way. Like, again, I want a new Uncharted game, but you also have to look at it in the other way. It's like, no, they're destroying studios. They're literally shutting them down. They're making them into things that they're not. They don't have good asset management. They're leaving games behind for dead. They're focusing only on the big ones. And going back to what I said in kind of the middle of this video, I bought the PS3, I bought the PS4, and I bought the PS5 because I love the variety. I don't love just The Last of Us and Uncharted. I mean, again, like Uncharted 4 is my favorite game. Uncharted is my favorite franchise. Last of Us, the first one, is an amazing game. It's one of my favorites. God of War, Horizon, all these games are amazing. But you look back at some of the like my memories of the PS3 or PS4, there are more games out there in that portfolio that aren't just those really big ones. A lot of games that make it very, very special to own a PlayStation console. And again, the whole expectation thing, why do you buy a PlayStation? Why do you buy an Xbox? Well, I don't expect every game to come out on a PlayStation. I don't expect every game to come out on Xbox. But why I buy PlayStation is not for 3 studios. It's not for 3 games. It's for quality. And yeah, not like 1,000. I'm not expecting Sony to put out, 50 exclusives every year. But, I want a couple different ones, and I want them to be, various things. Now, you could say, well, they're still doing that because you got like Kena Bridge of Spirits. They have all these exclusivity deals with all these different companies of like, doing Final Fantasy 16 being a time exclusive, Final Fantasy 7. Like, that seems to be their solution to this problem. It's like, well, we can't get our own studios to work right for whatever reason. I don't know. Again, I think it's a problem of not having Sean Layden. I really do believe it kind of boils down to that. We can't get it going. We can only focus on seemingly 4 to 5 big games at a time, and that's pretty much it. So the rest of these games need to come from other people that we don't even own. They need to come from Housemarque, which we do not own Housemarque. They need to come from Bluepoint, which we still don't own Bluepoint. They need to come from, Ember Lab, which is the makers of Kena Bridge of Spirits. That seems to be their new strategy, which I like that strategy, but I like it on top of having a good, state, like having your own games. You look at even Microsoft, obviously they struggled for a long time with their own exclusives, but look at them now. Now, these games still aren't out yet, You got all of Bethesda. You have the Initiative, right? The big, huge studio that's working on the Perfect Dark game. You have a big Fable, the team that's making Fable, obviously 343 for Halo. You have a massive group, and then you have Game Pass. Then you have the games coming, but you also have your own stuff. Now, again, it's not out yet, but you have your own things, and that's what Sony always had. But now they're starting to like dismantle their own like what they own. They're dismantling it for whatever reason. So they need a kick in the butt, okay? They need some tough love where it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. I understand what you're doing. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think this is a recipe for success going forward. So take this from a PlayStation guy. I'm upset. I hate what they're doing with Sony Bend. I hate the fact that they're going for, a Last of Us remake instead of like reviving an old game that actually needs one instead of an 8-year-old game that really doesn't need one at all because we have the remastered. It doesn't make any sense. Like, these are small things, sure, but you add them up. You add them up with like the PlayStation 3 store closing, the Vita store closing, all that stuff. It's just it's a bad look. It's constant bad looks, which is what they had during the PS3. The PS3 era was entirely just Sony always looked bad, okay? Then it was mainly Xbox, and Xbox always looked bad. Now it's back to PlayStation. So it's never both. It's never neither. It's always one or the other. And I guess that's the way the industry is. I would just... I would prefer, I was going to say I would prefer Sony not to be looked at badly, like they're always making good decisions, but I don't even say that as a fanboy. I don't say that as, wanting Sony to win. Again, I say it as someone who likes the industry of gaming. I don't want there to be internal problems at Nintendo. I don't want there to be internal problems at Warner Bros. Or, not even just exclusives, not Microsoft, not just Sony, not just all this. Warner Bros., Square Enix, I want them all to be good. That's literally what I just want games. I don't care about these companies. They're billionaires, okay? They're $1 billion corporations. I care about the games. And it seems like some of the people at the top are not making the right decisions. So this was one of the longest videos I've ever made. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys watched it. I really do appreciate it. I'm upset, and I wonder if you guys are too. Maybe I'm taking it maybe a little too far, but I just think this is one of those final blow moments where they've done a lot of bad stuff, and this is another really bad thing that's kind of a grouping of like 2, 3, 4 bad things all put into one article. So I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Sony's mishandling their studios? Do you think there's like a problem there? Again, I think probably the end of this week, I'll do a video on Sean Layden. I want to do maybe we can do it a different kind of video. Maybe I can do like a research thing, talk about Sean Layden, what he brought to Sony, and then when he left, kind of what happened. So I want to do a kind of a fun, different video about that later on this week and try and figure out, when this turning thing happened for PlayStation. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. Thank you for putting up with me for nearly 18 minutes. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.